Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dimitri Johnson, and you're listening to MMALatestNews.com.
It's time to roll, baby.
This is Jay Knows MMA.
Anyone who's talking about John Jones versus Israel Adesanya needs to stop. The need for instant gratification in MMA has been prevalent for a long time now. It's nothing new. But at a certain point, we really need to get control of these things. We haven't even been able to properly digest the last Stylebender's breakthrough performance, winning the undisputed middleweight title for the first time in his career. And half of the fan base already has him booked for a heavyweight title fight versus John Jones for his next bout. There couldn't be more of a clear-cut rightful challenge for Adesanya's next title defense. It's the very man that he called out in the post-fight interview, Paulo Costa. John Jones fires off a couple of tweets in the aftermath of UFC 243, and everybody gets up in arms about booking these two together. It's nonsense. How about letting these two guys get a couple title defenses under their belts, and actually give the divisions a chance to have established champions, and in turn, give these individuals an opportunity to become king of their divisions, taking on any and all comers, and thus a chance for their star to shine brighter than ever. Anderson Silva and George St. Pierre didn't become who they were by holding out for money fights and picking and choosing opponents that would best move their career forward. They became who they were by holding down their respective divisions and taking on the rightful challengers, no matter how marketable the fights were. In Silva's case, he defended the Middleweight Championship so many times, it got to the point where there was literally nobody else to fight. He had 5 title defenses before having no choice but to step up and to take out knockout artist James Irvin. And when he did, it was incredible. It was so impactful, letting the move of weight classes to happen organically, and in a way that made total sense. Rushing to just stick Jones and Adesanya together directly after Adesanya breaks through detracts from the specialness of what that fight should be. The same goes for Jones for that matter. Before this weekend, many were talking about how Jones' next move is to go to heavyweight. I see folks talking about it like it's the only thing that makes sense. And I say, says who? Why the hell are we rushing Jones up a weight class? It's not that I wouldn't love to see Jones versus Stipe or Jones versus Ngannou. It would be incredible. But Jones has just 2 title defenses under his belt, for a total of 3 title fights since his return. Of course, had the suspensions not occurred, among many of the other things that caused him to have his title taken away from him twice, perhaps the situation would be different now, but the reality is he has 2 title defenses. So why are we so quick to rush and jump him up a weight class? Credit to John Jones all the same. He's the one who came back with a vengeance and has been nice and active since his return, and outright saying he's here to take on the rightful challengers. I love that. And I do agree that the light heavyweight division isn't exactly on fire right now, but the reality is there are others climbing the ladder, and whether it be Johnny Walker, Jan Blachowicz, or Dominic Reyes, there are people climbing the ladder. It may not be the most marketable fight in the world, but part of the intrigue of those types of contests is that there's always a chance for somebody to tip over the apple cart. We've seen it happen time and time again, and it's those moments that stars are born. So why take that opportunity away from fighters who are working their way up in the ranks? I'd love to see Jones versus Adesanya, but only after the last Stylebender fights Paulo Costa, then Yoel Romero, and perhaps by that time Jared Cannonier will be a rightful challenger. And maybe by the time that happens, Robert Whittaker is on a resurgence in the rightful contender. Let these fighters establish themselves as the king of their respective weight classes. Rushing to make super fights detracts from the specialness of them. Stop trying to make these money fights prematurely and diminishing the moment that would be had these fights come about after there were absolutely nobody left standing and when the timing was absolutely right. Adesanya versus Costa is the fight to make, and thankfully it seems as though that's the direction things are headed. Good on Adesanya for doing the right thing and calling out the rightful next challenger. It's those actions that's going to make his appreciation and the admiration from the fan base swell, on top of the incredible performances he's turning out. I'm not hating the idea of Jones at heavyweight soon, but let's see him defend that strap one more time against whoever earns it next. Perhaps then, if there's nobody out there, a one-off fight at heavyweight is in order. Doesn't have to be a title shot, just give him an elite talent to test the waters. No need to rush these things, folks. The more you try to control the narrative, the more it diminishes the meaning of these fights. We're all in this for the long haul, so let's respect the hierarchy of champions and contenders a little more. And let's save those blockbuster fights for when the time is right.